All right, let's do it. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Nerd Soup. My name is Reuben, joined here today with Aaron, and we are back to talk Invincible, Season 3, Episode 8, the season finale. I thought you'd never shut up. And before we get into today's episode, I want to let you guys know that you can listen to this wherever you get your podcasts. And if you want more Nerd Soup, go ahead and check out our Patreon page, where we will be uploading a full Season 3 review of Invincible after this drops. And follow us on social medias, at Nerd Soup, at Beau Soup, at Nerd Soup Monkey. This was the episode that didn't save the season for me, but I liked it way better than the previous two. And Episode 7 was good. Bit rushed, and I think that was the trouble of adapting a storyline that was so massive. And then at the end of that episode, here comes Conquest, a villain who I knew existed, and we all anticipated that this was going to be a devastating throwdown, and it absolutely was. And very impressed by Jeffrey Dean Morgan voicing this character, bringing a lot of humanity to him. And I don't know how they changed him from the comics, but I liked how he was this space cowboy in the midst of an existential crisis. I didn't expect to get that side of him. I thought he was going to be a dude who's fully committed to his evil ways, and he very much is. And here to wreck shop, toy with Mark. Pleasantly surprised by the outcome of this fight. Even though it took a lot out of them, that moment for Adam Eve is the first time I felt that pride in watching an underdog actually succeed in this show. Because you made the point on another pod we did that Invincible's very much the anti-anime. They're not going to give you those moments of a character becoming stronger because the moment calls for it. You really have to earn it if you're going to come out victorious. So the budget obviously got to step up. I think that animation of Mark's hair after he got punched once was like the best animation they've ever done in the show, which I found to be really funny. But yeah, no, a great way to cap this season. A lot to talk about, but Aaron, let me get your overall thoughts before we get into specifics as we do.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was the best episode of the season. The animation looked great. It's one of those things where, like, in retrospect, you see some of the moments that maybe could have been used a little bit more in terms of budget, but then you get something like this and you're kind of like, all right, well, I don't want to say it completely makes up for everything, but it's definitely a nice little treat at the end of the season, because that fight sequence, I think, is the best the show has ever done so far. Conquest, this character that we just get introduced to. I mean, having that moment when he has that little monologue about how he has no friends, I felt bad for him, even though he just murdered so many innocent people. I'm like, oh, that's sad. Everyone should have friends, but maybe not the genocidal maniac that hops planet to planet and makes them bend their will to the Viltrumite Empire. So if anyone's supposed, I suppose if anyone has to be friendless, it's Conquest. But yeah, he was beating the fuck out of everybody. And then when Adam Eve came back, that was just such a cool moment for that character. Because we always talked about with her powers, like, she should just be the strongest character in the show. And she finally showed a taste of what her true potential could be. Do they teach that, like, face hold through a crowd move at Viltrumite training school?
They love going for that move, dude. I was like, not again.
Mark's got that. Dude, if I lived on this earth, like, I'm welcoming Viltrumite rule at this point. It's just been nonstop destruction day after day.
Yeah, no, they were, when Eve's parents were watching the broadcast, like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's like every other week, is your apartment's just getting shattered and destroyed. Insurance must be fucking crazy there. At a certain point, you just got to be like, all right, Mark, I appreciate what you're doing, but just give up. It's not worth it.
Yeah, is there another planet maybe you can protect from all the Viltrumites? Because I don't think we need your protection anymore, Mark. We're ready to be Viltrumite adjacent, like being a space vassal. Yeah, I mean, going into it, Mark's going to get a few licks in because Conquest is holding back, and then he's really going to toy with him. And whenever you get the analysis from Cecil, he's really the go-to guy when it comes to the power scaling. He's like, we haven't seen anybody stronger than this, stronger than Nolan. Going to that monologue at the end when he, confesses because he believes that Mark is going to die, that actually was a dark line when he was like, take it to your grave. But that's what Omni-Man feared, that, he was going to be alive for centuries, living this pointless life, just in constant servitude of an empire that you don't really enjoy in the spoils in because you don't have family, you don't have friends, You don't even have a name. Your entire purpose is dedicated to Conquest. And yeah, even though he can acknowledge how pointless his life is, he still doesn't back down from killing Mark and conquering Earth, because that's all he has is the thrill of the fight, of killing, of the taste of blood. When you peel back the layers of that character, it just makes him even scarier. The fact that he's aware of how pointless and evil this is, and he's still doing it. But yeah, overall, the animation, some of the great shots, the moves that they were pulling off, you know, when Oliver comes into the fight, Debbie's like, don't let him grab you. And the first thing that happens is he gets grabbed by his foot. Oliver, man, really, what they did with that character, probably the best character of season 3, where you're so terrified of him after what he did to the Muller twins, and you're wondering, is he going to become evil Superman, or is there, you know, are they going to be able to reach the good in him? And it wasn't even a matter of them having to do that. He just had to grow up. He just had to learn. When he was talking about, yo, he's old as fuck, we can take him. Like, bro, you don't know the lore, man. The older they get, the stronger they get. You got to go back and watch some anime, kid. So him coming in and helping Mark, and then that giving Mark the sort of extra boost to keep going. But without a doubt, I don't know if it's the best fight that they've done, I guess, in terms of the choreography and the animation, but the emotional impact, I think Mark and Omni-Man in season 1 is always going to be the best, just because of how much it meant for that story and those characters. But in terms of the overall quality, yeah, no, it may be the very best. Similar to how, like, Phantom Menace is arguably the best fight overall, but Empire's just got that emotional punch that you'll never be able to recreate, so you can't hold that against them. But like I said, the overall execution of it was pretty great.
Yeah, it was. And I think all the different elements surrounding it made it strong too. I mean, like you said, the whole Oliver situation, and then you had Eve. Mark just... What a world. If I was in Mark's shoes, I don't know how much longer I'd be alive, because he's under a lot of stress. After going through all that, then have fucking Conquest come rolling through, basically almost tear your brother from limb to limb, and then killing Adam Eve before she regenerated. Like, this guy's just had a bad life. I don't want to even say a bad couple days. Ever since, like, episode, early season 1, it's just been downhill from there.
Yeah, when Debbie apologizes, I would have been like, about time. Yeah, you fucked me. Couldn't keep it in your pants, huh? Sexy space alien came around, just had to give me powers. But that was that was a bit heartbreaking too, when she was talking about every day we would ask, did you get your powers yet? And not really taking into account the repercussions and the consequences and the responsibilities that Mark would have. I think one of the best lines of the episode is, it's about 5 or 6 minutes in, and Mark is begging him, please stop, wait, just listen, I think he says. I don't think there's anything that he could have said or any concessions he could have made to stop Conquest. But every now and then that humanity comes out of Mark. At the end of the Mr. Liu fight, when the dragon is killed and Eve asks him, are you okay? And his response is very honest, I don't know. So that vulnerability, for as strong as he is and as powerful as he is, it reminds you that, yeah, he can be killed. He's got such a strong emotional attachment to these characters and to this world. Just makes everything more emotionally impactful. Those small, vulnerable moments of humanity.
Yeah, and we keep saying, just like going forward, I wonder what all this experience, I think it actually bodes well for an eventual, like when Omni-Man eventually comes back to Earth. I mean, at this point, it's like you see a guy like Conquest show up and then realize there's a whole army of that dude coming. You need all the fucking help you get. So it is going to be interesting to see when Omni-Man does come back to Earth, especially with how the public perceives him, if it is in that way. But at the same time, you're like, all right, we'll forgive you for this next battle. Man, we'll wait and see how it ends up before we judge you for the terrorist attack you performed a couple years ago. But until then, we need your help, Omni-Man.
You know, it would be funny if it would be really funny if Conquest woke up and starts wrecking shop again, and Mark's like, oh, Cecil, you probably put one of those things in his brain, right? That makes the high pitched noise. And Cecil's like, oh shit, no, I totally forgot. Mark's like, are you fucking kidding me? You did it to me?
I knew Cecil was gonna do some weird shit.
That made me laugh, because when he shows up to the aftermath, looks around, and he's like, huh, the wheels are already spinning.
Oliver gets fucking bounced like a basketball. He's there to pick him up in 2 seconds. Eve's like just mangled, guts hanging out, and Cecil is nowhere to be found.
Mark, when he was crying out like, Cecil, I need you. Cecil's like, bro, Conquest is right there.
He's really close.
Like, Oliver got tossed. I could pick up Oliver, but create some distance.
I was just like, what does Cecil have to ask him? We know the Viltrumites are coming. What information is he going to give you? The cons outweigh the pros by a ton.
He's like, what are the most strategically valuable Viltrumite trading routes? Because we're going to form a blockade. We're going to strangle them.
We got him with tungsten and lava and explosives. It's like, yo, his fucking head is bashed into jelly and he's going to somehow survive that. I don't think a little bit of TNT is going to do much for him.
I was wondering if he was just trying to use his DNA for what Sinclair was doing, trying to make his Viltrumite, like the pseudo-Viltrumite army. I don't hate that. I mean, the way Sinclair was talking up those clones, maybe they'll be powerful enough to stop Conquest, but a risky move. That man's got no oversight. He needs to be called into Congress and testify over this.
I like how Mark is like, burn the body. He's like, I don't work for you. The fuck? Did he just try to give me orders, Donald? I was going to burn the body, but not now. Fucking brat.
Should have taken him up on his offer to lead the Guardians. Well, speaking of burning, let's talk about Adam Eve. Because when she woke up, I thought, oh boy, this is just going to be part 2. She's not going to be strong enough, and this guy is going to kill her in front of Mark. And he did. But before that, she levels up like we've never seen. When she said, oh, I've increased the pressure of the air, so Conquest isn't able to move as fast. And then she just starts getting real creative with it.
She's doing shit she should have been doing last week.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if she was just underestimating them a bit.
Yeah.
And she got a taste of, because Mark's never gone at her that way. She's never fought Omni-Man, but she finally got her first taste of that of the Viltrumite strength. And now she comes back, and it was great too, the way she was able to humble Conquest when she says, I'm full of all types of tricks. I was like, finally, dude, because everyone's mentioned it. Her powers offer the most creativity. We finally saw it. Taking all the tools out of the tool bag, but eventually it is too much, where Conquest says, you're breathing heavy, I can tell that you're getting tired, and he's able to break through. And that moment, man, brutal. He totally smashes her face, and this show never holds back when it comes to how these characters get brutalized. Punched right through the stomach, her fucking guts are flying out, and Mark has to hold her and look at her, and essentially she dies in his arms. But the way she came back to life, bro, I was like, hell yeah. So finally, this is the anime moment I've been waiting for from this show. And I appreciate how long they took to build it up, but incredible. Her becoming the fucking nucleus of this power and regenerating, and the mental blocks that she can now manipulate sentient material. It was just incredible. So well earned, so deserved, and just like an awesome moment for her to save the day. And for the shit that Mark did too, he doesn't stop fighting even when his hand was disgustingly broken. That was gross.
When he breaks his arm with his broken arm. That was disgusting.
It's so gross, bro.
Just a crunch. And then, just headbutting him into brain soup when they cut to his face. And it's just, I was fucking dying. He really just fucking, how did these characters survive these things?
Yeah, so in the comics, he does die. So that is a change that they've made, that they're going to keep him around. So there's a lot of potential there where maybe it's not Conquest wakes up and he wants to destroy Earth, get revenge on Mark. I don't know if they're going to go the redemption angle, but maybe it's just enough for him to take out all of his frustrations on the Viltrumite Empire. Just good timing. He wakes up when they invade.
Yeah, he might respect Mark.
Oh, yeah.
Or Eve, at least.
Yeah. And it wasn't Mark by himself. It was Eve. It was the two of them. And something I didn't expect. I thought that Conquest was just going to do some horrible things and then fly away and return to fight another day. You just need a bigger hero to go up against him. Someone like I could have swore we were going to get Battle Beast Conquest. That was going to be the sort of matchup between the two most powerful characters we've seen so far. Because that Battle Beast post-credit was so funny. It's just in the middle of the space after ripping that guy to shreds.
I'd be pissed off. Imagine you're just trying to do a good deed and save Battle Beast and he wakes up and just tries to fucking kill you. Or not try, he successfully kill you.
No, that's why you should never help people on the side of the road or just keep on flying.
Dude, imagine Mark, Adam, Eve, Battle Beast, Nolan, and Allen. That's a fucking squad, dude.
And then Conquest goes, got room for one more. No, dude, the way that they're teasing it, I love when shows do this. The potential of having all of those characters on the same side fighting against the Viltrumites is going to be awesome. And I think, dude, Mark, maybe stronger than we even thought, because when he doesn't hold back, even having the help from Adam Eve to go blow for blow like that with Conquest and just not be incapacitated or knocked out, to remain conscious after taking so many hits like that. When he slammed him on the floor, one of those hits, I was like, yo, that's a lot of force, dude. I don't know how the fuck he survived that. But, probably a little stronger than we gave him credit for. And I think that's always going to be the case with Mark, that because he's so strong, he's going to hold back. And when he has a chance to really cut loose, you see how strong he can be. And Conquest probably could have won that fight if he didn't hold back from the beginning, but still impressive for Invincible. Well, what did you think about Jeffrey Dean Morgan just giving that performance?
No, he's a good voice actor. I like his voice. It's very menacing. It fits very well for that kind of character. And also like being able to deliver that monologue too, I think just gave that character, even though we just met him and only known him for about 40 minutes, just gave him so much depth within this one episode. Obviously, attribute that to the writing, but also the performance. So
yeah, and I like how he brought this cowboy, hitman for hire vibe. It made it feel like a Western. This guy rolls into your town, and he's got nothing on his mind but to kill. It's sort of like how Thanos or Darkseid operates in the comics. They don't really try to make them too complex. They're just destructive forces of nature. And even when they did give him that monologue, it only added to the fear and the intimidation. It's like, man, we could have just avoided this. We could have sat down and got some coffee. I guess not. And I like the design of the character, the one eye, and then Gauntlet actually just being his hand. So, the wear and tear of that character, for as strong as he is, he's probably gone through some incredible battles. When people said, oh, they just kind of thrust us into this storyline, that's how it plays out in the comics as well. And I think it's more so leading up to the Invincible War wasn't as clean as it could have been.
Yeah. And that's also, I hate that argument. Well, that's how it happened in the comics. Well, sometimes the comics aren't great either. I'm not saying this comic isn't great, but when that argument's used for other things.
Right, yeah.
Or this is what they did in the book. It's like, yeah, maybe the book kind of sucked.
Yeah, and I don't have a problem with it coming out of nowhere, because I think that it's a bit of a subversion. You have this incredibly devastating war, and here's another one. There's no time to wait. It's not how these stories usually go. You usually have the cleanup, and no, it's part 2 immediately. It's literally Godzilla -1. So I don't mind that. Like I said, I think it was more so my issues with the Invincible War, how that was led up to and played out, which is still good and still had fun with it.
Yeah.
This really just took the cake.
No, yeah, this episode was awesome. I don't know why. You see Mr. Beast comment on IGN's rating on this episode.
Oh, that was so funny.
First Beast games are now Invincible.
Can you believe this, guys?
Dude, the memes have been great for this episode. The funeral shot. That is a crazy bad shot, but that's sometimes I don't understand. Obviously, it's hard to compare live action not live action, but animated frames from comic book panels, but you see how some of the atmosphere is lost in some of these moments where they don't really try to make these scenes anything more than they could be.
Oh, even the way that they were just all standing there.
Yeah. Even the shot of Mark crying at Rexplode's funeral, and then yeah, what we get on the show is just that one frame. And I felt like that was a little underwhelming. I mean, Rudy's speech, Rex's speech, robot speech, whatever he calls himself now, was nice, but I feel like everybody else is just kind of like, well, see you, Rex.
Black Samson came up there and it was like, Rex sure was a dick and an asshole and kind of stupid. But the Eve speech was probably the best one.
Yeah. Then Mark just starts laughing and just makes it about himself.
Yeah. He's like, God, I'm so happy I'm alive and you're so sexy.
Yeah. R.I.P. Rex, but I still got the baddest one. When you even get Shrinking Ray, like she was just off in the distance. I feel like they could have made more of an impact for that.
I do, yeah. I mean, the problem with comic book panels versus animation, it's obviously never going to be quite the same just because you have more money or it costs less to make those panels really pop. But when you see animes take the manga and go frame by frame, in some cases making it better. Because you see that a lot with anime, where you compare it to the manga, and it's like, man, there's so much more detail. They really did a better job of bringing this scene to life. And with Invincible, some of these panels, just the way that they're drawn and the way that they're colorized, it's night and day, where they cut so many corners. And at times, it doesn't really bother me because you have to cut corners when it comes to animation or film productions in general. That's just the way it is. Unless you're Christopher Nolan, every project comes in under budget and then you donate that money to charity. But yeah, it's a bit egregious at times when you compare them for this show.
Yeah. What? I feel like that's weird, taking like your boy's name after he dies.
Oh, totally weird. Yeah, I wish somebody would have brought that up. You could just still be Rudy. You already took his entire biological structure.
Yeah, when he gets older, is Ray gonna be like, what?
Ray and Monster Girl are going to be fighting over the same dude.
Yeah.
Ray is just waiting and plotting like a fucking freak. I'll tell you what, man, it did shock me when Eve was able to burn him that way. She was straight up looking like a god in that moment. When we said, who do we want to be Dr. Manhattan? We were talking about Mark and Severance. Eve was straight up Dr. Manhattan in that moment. I thought she was gone, dude. I thought she was dead. I was like, oh, okay. They're finally going to kill somebody major off.
Yeah. That would have been sad. We talked about how Mark's life just sucks, you know. Then that shit happens. I feel like Mark's definitely not opposed to killing anymore. I feel like if Eve died, he could have went full fucking scorched earth.
Dude, when he started smashing him on those people at the beach, I felt so bad for that one kid who got his arm obliterated. But yeah, no, that would have been scary if Mark lost Eve. And it does feel like, because IGN wrote, they got a lot of pushback for their review, but one of their main points is that the superhero dilemma feels a bit unresolved in this season, or maybe resolved a bit too quickly. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I feel like after everything Mark experienced in this season, to come down on the side of, yeah, I'm going to kill people if they're too much of a threat, I think that's fair. I don't know. I don't feel like I'm in a position to argue against that after everything he's experienced.
Yeah, and it's always, the whole Batman thing, or like Jason Todd when he brings up, like, how many times have you could have killed this man and all the lives you would have saved. It's a fair point, and like nothing good. Like if you keep Conquest alive, you're just guaranteeing more lives are going to be lost. He literally he's telling you that. He's saying, I will kill everybody you love. It's like, all right, I guess you leave me no choice there. And even Angstrom, you can let the Mauler, well, not anymore, but like, people like the Maulers when they were alive, you keep them around. They're fun, and they're easy to stop.
Yeah,
but,
just having a good time.
Elephant Man, he can let him live. But the big daddies, you gotta,
dude. His first season of season 4 is Mark just killing Elephant Man in front of his family. He'll never terrorize a burger shop.
Jesus, Mark. Like, it kind of sucks that the burger shop's a little ruined, but nobody's hurt. You didn't have to tear his trunk off and shove it down his throat.
I do wonder if that's going to come back and bite him. But I think if it did, the show is just too chaotic and unpredictable for that to be another lesson he needs to learn. Like, no, it's actually sometimes you should never kill. Because Angstrom didn't kill you. And you turned out to be a good person. So, well, I definitely should have killed Angstrom. So, yeah, maybe it does come back to haunt him, or maybe we just see a different side of Mark that haunts us a bit, but it's what you got to do when you're in these situations.
I love all the Immortal memes have been funny, too.
Oh, you saw that one? It was like, could 5,000 Immortals beat Conquest?
Yeah, no way. Immortal, just Celtic Shack.
I saw that edit of all the losses he's taken throughout the seasons. He really has just gotten his shit rocked every time. That was the funniest one, though, is when he gets brought back to life and he immediately goes to square up with Omni-Man, and Omni-Man just rips him in two. Just karate chops his guts in half.
You see my tax money going into arriving to reviving the Immortal for the 5th time this year.
That's what Doge is cutting next.
Yeah.
All the resuscitations of the Immortal. Yeah, and then we got another... it's funny, on the last review, I was going to mention how I miss Damien Darkblood, and that I wish he came back.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I guess the devil. I saw like a quote from the owner, not the owner, the writer, saying the show is going to... Like, that was an unused script for the comic books that the show might explore, where Mark has to fight the devil.
The devil?
Mark's been through enough. You don't have to make him fight the devil.
Well, that technically means Yahweh is a real character in this. So I wonder if we get Yahweh.
Or maybe not the big D, but devil adjacent.
Little D?
Yeah.
No, I saw a conspiracy video the other day about how the devil has his own devil.
He gets scared of a bigger devil that we don't even know about. His name is Orkrana. So the devil invented money. We all know this.
Yeah, I saw that one too.
So that scared the shit out of me because I never thought about that conceptually, which implies that Big G's got his own bigger G. That's too much, man. No, that could be fun. I mean, Clancy Brown is just one of my all-time favorite people who's ever existed. So I always love when he voices a character. And I think it's fun that he's also a Viltrumite along with Damien Darkblood. I was a little disappointed that we didn't catch back up with Nolan and Allen, but I guess that's something they're going to save more for season 4, some Nolan Allen adventures. I actually think that could be a really fun subplot in season 4. Get Omni-Man more back into the focus while still keeping him separated from Mark and what's happening on Earth, developing the characters that way. So when it's time for Omni-Man to make his big return, everyone's like, yo, you did a lot of bad things, we can't forgive you. But then Allen co-signs him, and they're like, oh, Allen's chill as fuck. No, you're cool.
I want to see how strong Allen is. Like, we know he's strong now, but I want to see him go full, like, unleashed.
Well, you know when the war comes, he's dead. He's going to do some cool stuff, but...
Well, he's going to be fighting.
He's too likable.
Battle Beast is going to be like, I want to fight him.
You don't want to be too strong with Battle Beast there.
Like, can we the Sequids need to stop. This is what I was talking about earlier in the season, how they just keep bringing shit back up. I don't want to see that ever again. Don't tease it.
Yeah, no, I'm totally with you.
That storyline sucks, and they keep bringing it back, and it's just like, we're good.
Yeah, and even Angstrom with the technicians, I would have just preferred if Angstrom died.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we'll see.
Let's do something new, you know? Why do we keep rehashing these storylines? Maybe in the comics something sweet happens, and I'll look like an idiot, but as of now, I'm anti-Sequid.
Yeah, I think I'm going to read the comics. I think I'm going to tap in, because I keep getting things spoiled for me.
Yeah, people are
not
really
too long.
Not careful with spoilers.
They aren't holding back anymore. It's actually very annoying.
Yeah, someone just posted the final page of the comic book.
Oh my God.
It was just the final page. I was like, okay, guess I know that's what happens. But it's all about the journey there, I guess, right?
Yeah. That's what they say. It's not the destination. Unless it's Disney World.
The Try the Florida fucking sucks.
All right, guys, that is going to do it for this review of Invincible Season 3, Episode 8. As we said, we will be back on our Patreon page for a full season review, and that will be me, Aaron, Cam, and Andres. And Andres is probably the biggest Invincible fan out of the four of us, so it's going to be fun to get his thoughts. He really loves this show. I always see the meme that Invincible is Dragon Ball Z for white people, and Andres loved Dragon Ball Z growing up, so he's double dipping. Aaron, thanks for joining me all season. Had a fun time reviewing this show. Hopefully no Sequids next season. It's all we can hope for.
Praying every night.
Man's not praying for anything. Not his friends, his family, his well-being. Please, God, no more fucking Sequids.